This year is indeed going to be tough for Abubakar Malami and his family. When you steal and eat what belongs to the masses, this is how you are going to end. Indeed, karma is real. Something remarkable happened at Kuje Prison Gate today, and this shows that nobody is above the law. If you want to know what happened during the dramatic events that unfolded and the full story behind this shocking development, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. In a stunning turn of events this afternoon, Abdulaziz Malami, son of former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, broke down in tears as he was rearrested by operatives of the Department of State Services just moments after walking out of Kuje Correctional Center. The younger Malami had just completed his bail processing and was preparing to leave the facility when DSS officers swooped in and took him into custody on fresh terrorism-related charges. Eyewitnesses at the scene described the atmosphere as tense and emotional. Sources present at the prison gates reported that Abdulaziz appeared visibly shaken and distressed as he was informed of the new charges against him. What was supposed to be a moment of relief and freedom quickly turned into another nightmare for the Malami family. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to where the saga began. Abubakar Malami, who served as Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice, was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission along with members of his family on allegations of corruption. The EFCC's case against the former Attorney General centers on alleged financial crimes, abuse of office, and misappropriation of public funds during his tenure as the nation's chief law officer. Following their arrest, both Abubakar Malami and his son Abdulaziz were arraigned in court and subsequently remanded in Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. At that point, the charges were serious enough corruption allegations against a former Attorney General sent shockwaves through the legal and political establishment. But what happened next would take this case to an entirely different and more dangerous level. While the Malami were locked up in Kuje Prison, the EFCC and DSS conducted a joint raid on the family's residence in Kebbi State. What the security operative discovered during that search operation stunned investigators and transformed this from a corruption case into something far more sinister. According to reliable sources within the security agencies, operatives uncovered a cache of arms and ammunition hidden at the Malami family home. The discovery was so significant and alarming that it immediately triggered a terrorism investigation. Questions began to fly. Why would a former Attorney General have weapons stockpiled at his residence? What were these arms intended for? Who else was involved in this operation? The DSS, which handles matters of national security and terrorism, immediately took over this aspect of the investigation. The agency declared Abubakar Malami wanted on terrorism-related offenses, separate from the corruption charges for which he was already being detained by the EFCC. This created an unprecedented situation. Abubakar Malami was already in prison, facing corruption charges from the EFCC. Now, the DSS wanted him on even more serious terrorism-related allegations. But here's where things get interesting. Despite being granted bail by the court on the corruption charges, Malami refused to process his release from Kuje Prison. So Malami made the calculated decision to stay back. Kuje Prison became his refuge, a place where he could avoid the DSS while his lawyers worked to figure out a strategy. But this plan had one major flaw. Unlike his father, who seemed resigned to an indefinite stay in Kuje, Abdulaziz Malami was struggling with life behind bars. Reports from inside the correctional facility indicate that the younger Malami had been complaining of illness, the harsh conditions, the uncertainty, and the psychological toll of imprisonment were becoming unbearable for him. Kuje Prison was suddenly becoming too much for Abdulaziz to handle, and he made the decision to process his bail and secure his release. After all, he had been arrested on corruption charges alongside his father, not on terrorism allegations. As far as he and his legal team knew, once his bail was processed, he would be free to go home, seek medical treatment, and wait for his trial date. What Abdulaziz didn't know was that the DSS had been building a case against him as well. The arms discovered at the family home implicated not just Abubakar Malami, but members of his family, including his son. The moment Abdulaziz walked through the gates of Kuje Correctional Center, DSS operatives closed in. They had been waiting, armed with evidence linking him to the terrorism-related charges connected to the arms cache discovered in Kebbi. All efforts to resist the arrest proved futile. The legal authority of the DSS was clear, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop what was about to happen. Witnesses described heartbreaking scenes. Abdulaziz, who moments earlier had been breathing the air of freedom for the first time in weeks, suddenly found himself in handcuffs again. The realization of what was happening hit him hard. This wasn't supposed to be how it went. He was supposed to go home, see his family, get medical help. Instead, he was being bundled into a DSS vehicle, tears streaming down his face as the brief taste of freedom evaporated. Abdulaziz Malami is now being held at DSS headquarters in Abuja, where interrogation into the terrorism-related charges has begun. Despite his reported medical condition, the agency has made it clear that the investigation will proceed. Across Nigeria, reactions to this developing story have been intense and divided. Anti-corruption activists and civil society groups have hailed the arrest and the aggressive pursuit of the case as evidence that the rule of law is finally being applied equally, regardless of how powerful or well-connected the accused might be. Do you think the Malami family is finally facing justice? Or is there more to this story than we're being told? We're reading every comment and we'll keep you updated as this drama unfolds. Hit that subscribe button now, this story is just getting started.